All right, let's get back to our top story. There are just 8 days until Election Day, and Vice President Harris and Donald Trump are back in some critical swing states in a final sprint to gain more supporters. New CBS News polling shows the race is in a dead heat, both nationally and collectively in battleground states. CBS News' senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang has more on the race as it ramps up, and she joins me from the White House. Weijia, it's good to see you. So, as you know, there's a week left until a week and a day until Election Day. Let's just talk a little bit about how both sides are framing the conversation going into this last couple of days.
Vlad, it's always great to see you. Hello to everybody. So it's no surprise that with just over a week left until Election Day, both of the candidates are really framing this race as a referendum against the other one, with the former president, Donald Trump, claiming that the Biden-Harris administration and its policies have really been detrimental to Americans. So he is asking people to remember what it was like when he was president. He is also really reaching out to his base, using heightened rhetoric, as we saw, as you covered all this morning during his latest rally, to really, describe some of those Americans in shocking ways. And then on the other side, Vice President Harris, she's really trying to get people to remember, frankly, what Donald Trump was like. And she says, when someone shows you who they are, to believe them. So the Harris campaign claims that when Trump says he wants to have mass deportations, when he says he wants to rule like a dictator, when he says he wants to have militaries like Hitler, that he means it. And, we have been talking to voters, Vlad, to see how their messages have been landing. Take a listen.
And I think under Trump's policies, just in his first 4 years, we saw incomes go up for the middle class family, and the quality of life to go up, not down. And in the last 4 years, I guess you're seeing inflation and a lot of middle class families suffering to keep up with bills and childcare.
I think his only interest is his self-interest.
Exactly.
He's not interested in helping the people who are going to vote for him because they're just misinformed. He's going to make the rich people richer and make sure he feels good about himself.
And as you just mentioned, Vlad, this race is so tight, not only nationally, but in those key battleground states where it's really going to matter, which is why from this point on, you should expect to see a lot of both candidates in all of those states, Vlad.
So let me ask you about President Biden, Weijia, who, as you know, is casting his ballot today. Early voting was crucial for Democrats back in 2020. Back in 2020, as you know, because you were still covering the White House back then, the former president seemed to rail against early voting. He thought it was some plot to rig the election. I mean, in his mind, everything is a plot to rig the election, unless it's in his favor. But now, in 2024, does it appear to you that Republicans have the edge in this early voting? Because it does seem that Donald Trump has now gotten behind it.
Well, what we do know is that that millions and millions of people have decided to vote early. And to your point, Vlad, the former president's message is a little muddled now, even though he has encouraged people to do it. He has also said that, he's not positive that all the early voting and mail-in ballots would be legitimate. And so he's keeping open the door to air grievances down the road if he sees fit. But to your point, when I talk to Republican Party officials, they have been urging people in all of their states to vote early if possible, to get it out of the way, to make sure they do it so they don't forget to do it. And that was exactly the message from Vice President Harris yesterday when she campaigned in Philadelphia. In fact, on stage right behind her, there was a massive sign that read, "Philly votes early." And she directly pleaded with people to find out how to do that by ballot, by mail-in ballot, to find out where they could drop those off. And so, yes, this is a really important tool for both parties, Vlad. And as we have seen already, record number of people, they seem to be listening.
Indeed. Weijia Jiang for us at the White House. Always great to have you, Weijia. Thank you.
You're welcome.